This is Heavenscape, Year 1, the Strathmore Chronicles, brought to you by Saturday Night Gaming, the Strathmore Chronicles, written by Jessica Stevens, narrated by Tony Stevens, Richard Winans, and Jessica Stevens. Gloom, Episode 5, Teleportation and Turmoil. Arthur Strathmore felt his body compressed and altered and reformed, all in a split second. Then, the ground met his boots with an impact that sent him staggering. Dark volcanic soil rumbled beneath his feet as if it was protesting the group's arrival. Plumes of heavy sulfuric smoke hissed and angry red cracks split the ground around them.
See? That is teleporting.
Wren pointed at Arthur, annoyed.
Oh, I know all about teleporting. I invented it,
Arthur said, matter-of-factly, and not without a note of pride and satisfaction in his voice.
No, you died, and then the ring brought you back.
She gestured at the heavy black ring now hanging securely around her neck. The frustration was evident in her voice.
You know,
Arthur said, unruffled by her obvious annoyance,
ever since you've been wearing that ring, you've been, more and more ornery and less ladylike.
That is an interesting observation, Arthur. Vel spoke quietly, smoothing the wrinkles in his tunic. You have also been more pleasant than usual since you found the eagle's yellow crystal. And your appearance seems to have, youthened. Your hair is no longer gray, and your scars have healed remarkably. Arthur glanced down at the heavy pendant nestled against the large eagle feather. They both rested gently against his heart, and he felt their energy and healing power flowing through him.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it should be, unsettling, but I kind of like it.
Arthur grinned amiably at Emery, who blushed deeply, and then he looked around at the smoking, grumbling volcano.
So, what are we doing here anyway?
Yeah, it stinks here, like rotten eggs.
Mark's delicate nose wrinkled in disgust. Arthur peered down at the small boy standing by his elbow. Mark had been sitting wide-eyed beside the campfire when the black smoke reformed Strathmore's body. The young boy had solemnly declared himself to be a cultist, and instantly had taken a liking to the boisterous soldier. The boy's healing and protection magic had proved useful when the group faced their next foe, a massive eagle whose screech had the power to revive one's worst memories. The enormous Chippewa bird, as Arthur had begun to refer to it, had nearly killed Wren, and its screech had wreaked havoc upon the group's mental health. It could only be brought down by the combined might of the entire group, and when its lifeless body had finally fallen, it shook the very ground they stood upon. When Strathmore had inspected the eagle's massive corpse, he found a large golden gemstone embedded into its chest. The gem radiated with warm energy and filled Arthur with a happiness he had not felt in years. Since that battle, Mark hadn't left Arthur's side. His cheerful presence and insistence that Strathmore was his space daddy were even starting to grow on the old warrior.
Well, it smells better than that swamp.
Arthur was feeling uncharacteristically optimistic.
Anything would smell better than that swamp,
Vel pointed out with a shudder. After the group had defeated the enormous eagle, Strathmore had used the yellow gemstone to transport the entire group away from the deceptively peaceful plains, and directly into the heart of an expansive swamp.
Hey, I had to teleport us away from that Chippewa bird. What if more of them had come back?
Arthur pointed out reasonably. The putrid bog had stretched out in every direction, shrouded in shadow and filled with strange noises. The group had quickly been separated, driven apart by their own sorrow and terror as the ground shook, and their most agonizing memories ripped through them once again. They had slowly come to understand that this place, Sheol, forced them to experience their worst traumas over and over. They had lost all track of time as they wandered through the stinking mist, stuck in their past. The treacherous bog had nearly claimed their lives and their sanity. But the power of the Black Ring had pulled them all in the same direction. They had met again on the muddy banks of a small island. At its heart was an enormous ancient toad surrounded by large pillars set in the ground. A blue stone had been embedded into its forehead, and all magic had been useless against him. The towering amphibian's booming voice had filled the air and filled their minds with horrifying memories. The blue stone encased them in ice, frozen and unable to escape the terrible echoes of their pain. He sought the group's gemstones and their lives as a sacrifice. Only by working together had they been able to vanquish the threat. The toad's glowing blue stone had been claimed by Robert Gray, but at great cost. The absence of the stone had created a powerful vacuum. Everything on the island was pulled into the growing black hole created by the fall of the beast.
You know, it's a good thing I invented teleportation.
Strathmore crossed his arms, pleased with himself.
We would have all been sucked into that big whirly-swirly hole had I not brought us here.
Rin rolled her eyes and made a disgusted noise in the back of her throat.
Well, however we arrived, we are here now.
Vel studied the volcanic steam curiously.
I wonder what chaotic mess we have stumbled into this time.
He closed his eyes and used his magic to search for other life forms.
This place appears to be abandoned of all life. Well then, it seems like a good place to make camp.
Strathmore pointed at the setting sun.
I'll take first watch and keep my eye out for any more Chippewa birds.
Me too.
Mark followed closely behind the grizzled warrior, utter devotion on his innocent face. The group passed the night in silence, each lost in thought. Despite his newfound optimism, Strathmore kept a close eye on Rin as she sat quietly beside the flickering campfire. He knew firsthand the dark power of the Black Stone, and he could see her wrestling to control the turmoil scraping inside of her.